People like to see hands and tools coming together.
Right. Well, this is just a regular
Camera pulls back.
spinning wheel that people use. It's called a Cassandra. It's just the name of it. A gentleman in Kansas City made it. He sells them, but I think he might be taking a break. And it's not really made for plastic, but it's made for spinning. So these are the bags that we put together before, with the 2 loops, and then knotting them together, and then 2 more loops, like that. It goes on for, I don't know, 20 bags or so. And so it's called the orifice.
For good reason.
Right. Although it's very small. I mean, my thicker yarn, since I'm not doing it the way you're supposed to do it, should we do it this way?
Still, it's easier for a plastic bag to get through the eye of the orifice than for a rich man to get into heaven.
I don't know, it's kind of hard to do this too, but yes, you are correct. So this is just a regular piece of yarn. This is just a leading thread that you have a loop here.
Since you're leading us on.
So this is going to hold it. And the thing about spinning, it's all about tension. Having too much or too little can really mess everything up.
Okay.
So you have to keep this going. And you have to have the right pull so that eventually will pull it onto. So it's basically twisting here. There. So as it twists, I tend to stretch it a little bit. Pull the plastic so it kind of stretches in on itself.
So you're creating something called plarn.
Yes, plastic yarn. And you can make plarn without actually spinning it. You can just keep the loops. I have to get it kind of started because see, my machine is not made for this type of material, so I have to sort of
Work with it.
yeah, kind of make the tool do what you want it to do.
Looks like it's feeding, right? I see it gathering.
Yeah, it usually takes a little while to get started. So I just kind of smooth this out on my loops.
And you can do this while watching Black Mirror, except you can't watch Bandersnatch because then you can't use the remote.
Right. See, and then sometimes it gets caught. But the idea is that you are, whenever you're spinning wool or anything that you're supposed to spin, it's all about not putting too much energy into it. You don't want to have too much because then it will just knot back on itself. So it's a combination of the right twist, the right amount of twist.
Let's twist again like we did last summer. Oh, let's twist again.
And so lots of times I have to stop and manually feed it on here because again, it's not made to kind of go on here easily.
Could you make it fly? Oh.
Well, part of the
It's the knots, right? The knots are causing the problems.
it's the knots and it's also the hooks because the little knots get stuck on the hooks. So if you had a smoother transition of when it gets here and these things, get stuck.
It's the knots, see?
You also adjust the drive band
Uh-huh.
to make it tighter. So I've just moved this plastic band from here to here to make it tighter, and that might help to pull up. Yeah, see now how it goes so much faster?
Yeah.
Just do that.
I know.
Yeah.
What was that was flying up?
It was this extra piece, this big extra piece here that it made. It just wouldn't, because of the knots, it doesn't always pull it onto, draw it onto the bobbin. And there are electric versions of this, but the orifice is too small and you can't.
On the electric one?
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't take that much energy to use your feet, is it?
No.
And the electric one, you probably wouldn't stop as often. You'd be like, oh, shoot.
Well, it would be more consistent, but it would be harder. You have to get the tension right. And there's actually a Kickstarter for this electric. You can get an electric one for like thousands of dollars, but there was a Kickstarter where they just sold them for like $100 bucks. But like I said, it's not made to do this. The orifice is too small. So,
And what you'll end up with is what you did here, right? This is
yep.
an example of that.
And you can
Plarn,
experiment
plarn.
with different thicknesses of, I can make this thinner, possibly. But it kind of depends. I mean, you want it to be strong enough where it's not going to break.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, some people knit with it without even spinning it. They just knit with a flat, wide piece of plastic.
What's the fun in that?
And this is fun too because the coloring, you're getting colors in it that are whatever the pattern of the bag is.
Uh-huh. Now, while you're spinning this, can you tell me, you were saying because Inas and I don't take out the garbage and we collect everything at home, and we're doing this thing where we're using an incinerator to crush glass into sand, and we're shredding or turning plastic into oil with a plastic to oil machine, and we're taking HDPE and melting it down into things. You're saying we don't have to be artists.
Right. I mean, I know how to knit. I can take yarn and knitting needles or crochet hook, and I can crochet a blanket or knit a scarf. But most people who are serious knitters knit sweaters and knit things that take patterns and work with, really nice wool or special kinds of cashmere, or, they really knit because they take a much more serious attitude with it. So my goal is to just make this into a raw material, make it into yarn, and let somebody else be creative with it. But knowing how to be creative myself helps me be able to prepare it in a way that will help them work it. Like, I know consistency in the twist is important. I know that strength is important, but I also know that softness and being able to manipulate the materials is important. So I don't have the skill to actually knit this into something complicated. Plus, I think there's so many more people out there that really, in the crafting community, they're really looking for ways to reuse. And so I think it's a good fit. You're talking about sustainability and giving people, any crafter who wanted to make plarn can do it. The question is, do they have the time? Have they, figured out the right thickness and recipe of what exactly it is they want to make? So you can take that time that they would have to do doing it, which they could. They would much rather be making the finished product. So this helps them.
So you're thinking of an ecology of waste not, want nots, resource recovery, recyclers, and the beginning step of that ecology is somebody who would collect the so-called waste that's been refused. The person then would take that, because you don't go out and get all the plastic bags, you get them from somebody, right?
Well, my mom goes grocery shopping a lot. I don't use plastic bags myself, but when I had my groceries for delivered, for example, I just got a bunch of them today. So I'll use those.
So in this ecology, there'd be the person who collects the stuff and sorts it, and you would be the manufacturer of a recycled artist what would you call what you're doing? A raw material for the artist.
Right, craft supply.
Craft supply.
You could also have schools. Schools raise money by collecting things to recycle. So you could have a class say, okay, we're going to, 5th grade elementary school class, bring in all your plastic bags this day. And if I was a business who made money making this, I would pay the school, give the school a donation for however many bags they brought in. And then, or you can probably buy them from, there are collection sites at a lot of grocery stores to collect the bags, work with those companies. I don't know, if the companies that do it now pay them, if the grocery store pays them to take it away, or if the person who takes it away pays the store for the resource. I don't know how that.
But you are
changed.
a small businesswoman who is actually selling this.
Right, exactly.
You sell these on
Etsy.
On Etsy.
Yeah.
And there's a market for it. Artists, knitters are buying your recycled plastic yarn, your plarn.
Crocheters, rug makers, collage. I've had some people who do collage purchase it. What's also popular is making them out of t-shirts. So you take a t-shirt and you cut it all go around the whole shirt itself, and you cut it into maybe 1 inch or 3/4 of an inch of a strip, and then you here bring it. Don't
bring it.
And this was one of my first prototypes, so it's a little bit rough. But once you spin it, it twists it, and makes it more stable. So this is actually one that I've worked on a little bit better. Now you can tell this is also post-consumer waste, right? Because this is a T-shirt that had printing on it, and so when you go and you find these shirts, this one actually was one of my kids. They get their names on T-shirts for their class, and when they outgrow the shirt, who's going to want a T-shirt with a bunch of kids' names on it? So this item is much more prevalent. When you go to a thrift store, you usually see a lot of T-shirts like that have these, or even, for example, when the St. Louis Rams football team left St. Louis, what do you do with all those Rams T-shirts other than burn them in effigy, which a lot of St. Louis Rams fans wanted to do? So, what do you do with that? What do you do with, teams like that? They have got to have a lot of paraphernalia that's discontinued.
Right.
And you get free T-shirts when you go to lots of events, like a 4K run or 5K run. I mean, a lot of people wear those shirts, and that's fine. But one day, you're going to end up with all these shirts, and you can take shirts that have a stain on them.
Right.
That are not wearable. You can take a shirt that has a big hole in it or a tear, and you can make it into something that's useful. So that's the kind of stuff I look at it from a highest and best use standpoint, which is similar to economic development. When you have a piece of land, and if it's in a flood zone, the highest and best use for that land is probably a park. The highest and best use is probably not building a building on it, because it's in a floodplain. That's not going to be a long-term situation. So it's the same thing with clothing. Figure out what's the best use for this. Obviously, the best use is to use it as much as you can, and then once you're done using it, after it's stained or it doesn't fit you anymore or your children, the next best thing is to make it into something and use it one more time in a craft before it eventually
gets downcycled.
Yeah.
Do you think people who hate the Rams would wear the recycled T-shirt with disdain?
They would probably love to have it. They would probably love to see a St. Louis Rams shredded something made into whatever the new football team, which we don't have and won't have for a while. It's all about. But I mean, I think this is an opportunity for retailers. Pepsi Cola or Coca Cola, they have a bunch of T-shirts, or this particular grocery store that this bag is from is called Deerberg's, and it's a local grocery chain. I mean, what better way to show your customers that you're using your own bags than to make them into something new? And you could even make this into a reusable grocery bag.
Right. Did you catch my marketing joke? That you could take these stained T-shirts of the Rams and have the marketing, you can wear it with disdain.
I got it now. I did not catch it the first time. I was too focused on the reusing part to miss the wordiness.
Cool.
See, and I still have this much left. And one of the other challenges with this spinning wheel is that the bobbin is just too small to accommodate the length that I need with this material. So that's, I'd have to build or get a different one that had a larger bobbin.
Now, how do you make it look like that?
So that's fun. I can, I don't know if I have one that I can show you. I can show you briefly when we, let me see. I could show you with this, sort of.
Or you can't do it with that?
Well, no, because I'm not done with it. I mean, I can finish it and then do it.
Oh, let me put this on pause. What was waste now is plarn. Spinning wheel makes a good yarn. Gotta make some plarn and make that spinning wheel spin. And there it is. Yep, there it is.
So then, this is where we use the nitty-knotty.
Nitty-knotty.
Like Niddy, Noddy.
Itty naughty.
And this, what the Nitty Nutty does is it actually measures how much yardage. So now how many yards
That
I've
thing.
made. This, no, I was incorrect. I called that a Nitty Nutty. So the next stage
Oh, you're unraveling it.
is to
How could you do that?
go around like this.
For the whole row?
All the way around, yeah. So that's one. That's half a yard.
But you just spun it.
Well, yeah, I just spun it, but I have to measure it now.
Oh my goodness.
So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
Cat's like fascinating.
8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15,
This is going to be a cat video.
17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So there's 23 half yards on here. So if you're, bless you. So if you have 23 half yards, how many yards is that?
Could it be 11.5?
Yep.
Good gosh, I can do
11.5.
elementary math.
So, bless you.
Oh, yeah.
So we have 11.5 yards on here.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're going to put it on this. This is what they do with wool. So again, I'm using tools that are not supposed to be used for a different purpose.
Oh.
And you take it over here to the ball winder. Kind of move the random things out of the way because we don't want to get stuck on anything. And then normally you'd put it in this hook, but this hook's orifice is too small too, so I have to kind of This is my favorite part because this is what it makes it look all nice and
Saleable.
yep, looks like a real machine wound it or something like you would see at a store. This is one that's going to be made a little bit later.
So to see what a finished product looks like, I should look online then.
Yep, but this is
But don't you need pictures of that when you're selling it to give people ideas? Like once you increase your sales, if people said, oh, I can use this to make that.
yeah. So this is kind of what the ball looks like.
Wow.
And then put a label on it. Looks like that.
Wow.
And this one's made out of a couple pillowcases, pillow shams.
Mm-hmm.
And I have the next one I'm going to make, which I won't show. But this is a prom dress, or was a prom dress.
Wow.
So that makes a really funky one.
Well, there you have it, folks. A true example of a zero waste circular economy that you can do at home. And you can order these if you're an artist and want to make recycled plastic bag sweaters or carpets, or
Scarves or bags.
you can get them where?
Revyntage.com.
Revyntage.com. Let's turn that around and
Revyntage.
there we are.
Revyntage.com.
Oh yes, Revyntage.com.
I think it says .com there.
.com. Alrighty, thank you.